it's Bill. Welcome back to my videos. Yeah, it seems to me like I get invited places just because they always expect me to bring the food. So what do you do when you got a birthday party? Well, especially if it's for kids, you gotta surprise them, right? So I'm going to try a cake here, and I want to show you what this cake looks like first. And not really hard to make, but it'll really excite the heck out of them. And this harkens back in the day before everyone just ran out and bought a box and a can of frosting and called it a day. Now, so this took some little bit of wit, but we're going to work together through this. So let me show. So I got my little cake carrier. Got a little cake in here. So this is a birthday party, right? So I got some paper plates. You got some plastic knives, and I just want to cut a piece. Cut a piece right out of here. What makes this so great? There's a jumbo brownie sitting underneath this marshmallow icing. This is my grandmother's recipe for the icing, my concoction for the brownie. So let's go back in time and I'll show you how I made this. Stay tuned. So, now we know the recipe, let's get started on it. So I got a bowl here, and I just need to mix up some stuff. Then it's going to be put in another bowl so we can actually mix it. So you kind of like have two sets of ingredients that you're going to beat together. So this one we want to start with, and I hear the oven, it's warming up to 350. So what I got here is I need 3 eggs. You're all tired of watching me crack eggs. Oh, that was good.
I think there's a piece of shell. Oh well.
So I kind of changed this recipe, so once again I was using less bowls, containers, and everything else. I didn't hit that one very firmly. See, this is real life. Yeah, that's what real life is. Make a mess. Gotta do it. But oh well. And you can always start over. Like, always make sure you have spare eggs. Eggs are like this nightmare thing. Alright, so I just want to get these mixed. I'm not really trying to get them like crazy beaten. I could do this with a fork, but I know ultimately I need the whisk, so. Just delicate, don't want to splash stuff around. So I got 3 large eggs, right? So now what do I need to do? I need to gum up the works by adding 1.5 cups of sugar. start in small little spaces. And if I weren't doing this as a video, I probably would be doing this with just a fork. But I didn't want you to be painfully watching me do this. Oh look, I got a 350 of it. Alright, so it's kind of this weird tapioca consistency, but it's all we need, right? So, lastly but not leastly, here's the thing. I need some flavor, right? So, oops. I need some vanilla. I'm going to show you my trick. I need about a tablespoon, but I'm not going to put quite a tablespoon. Probably about 3/4. And why is that? Well, because the base of the cake, the brownie, I don't like nuts, but I like a little flavor. So I'm going to throw in, if I can open this, and I'm just using this kind of as a splash guard so I don't actually pour too much in. I probably want just about a half, maybe a teaspoon, which is 1/3 of a tablespoon, a little bit more, because it gives a little flavor, like you put nuts in it, right? And everyone goes, "Oh, this isn't the way I'm used to it. This is better." And you're like, well, of course, because you made it. You made it with my recipe that you absolutely love, right? Alright, so let's get this. And it's really funny that the smell of the almond is just so amazing and distinct. So now I got melted butter. Now, I'm going to give you my speech again. Please, please. Microwaves have multiple settings. You never want to melt butter on high, okay? It's just like I love at work when everyone puts their TV dinners in the microwave for 20 minutes on high, even though they're not the best microwaves. So do this in steps so you get it the right consistency. And this is a 1.5 sticks of melted butter. And we want to get this all nicely mixed. This is just the way we want it. Enough of that chaos. So, got that. I'm going to set it aside. Whew. So, in my mixer bowl, I have the dry ingredients. I have 3/4 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's a lot of powder, isn't it? Cocoa powder, baking powder, I don't know. But what I'd like to do is I just want to kind of make sure it's just a little bit mixed. We don't want a whole bunch of one thing on the bottom when we start beating this all together. Cocoa powder has a pretty long shelf life, but I do notice that even after a short time it can kind of clump. So I don't feel this recipe needs to be sifted. Oops. Just pushing it down the sides. Now I got my wet mixture I'm going to pour right in. And this is one of those recipes from decades ago. And back in the day I wouldn't have gotten the hand mixer out, the Sunbeam, remember those, or stand mixer. You could also take off the mixer part. That's how my mom made mashed potatoes in her Revereware pot that she cooked the potatoes in. Okay, so I just want to cut this together a little bit with my spatula. Just kind of scraping down the sides. Because I hate when powder goes poof when you turn on your mixer. So I'm just gonna, alright, this looks good. Perfect.
Hook it up. Let's make sure it goes together properly.
I just need a beater bar for this. I know you can't hear me talk. Just want to make sure it gets incorporated. It doesn't have to be perfect. And here we go. It's going to take about a minute. We're going to start low and work our way up. So now we just want to make sure we scrape off the beater here. I know I just blocked all my light, right? This just smells like amazing. You always want to kind of scrape down, make sure I have a bunch of stuff on the bottom. That looks absolutely divine. All right, now I'm gonna show you a trick. I got a cake pan, 8-inch. Now, you're gonna think this is funny because you probably have never heard of this, but back in the day when we wanted to grease, this thing's driving me crazy. We wanted to grease our cake pan, and this is actually stick-free, which is kind of modern, but back before that, what you did was you took Crisco, or well, whatever it's called generically, just run it around with your finger lightly, and what happens is kind of makes a seal down in that corner because your finger really doesn't get in that corner unless you use the back of your finger. Then what I did, I greased the whole thing, cut a piece of parchment paper, put in there, and then I greased the parchment paper. So now we have a perfect layer here. The other trick is, guess what I did? After I did that, in the fridge, so this is cold, right? So now, I don't have to worry about that Crisco at room temperature getting into my brownie mix. So let's see what this looks like. And when we're talking about flavor, the other thing I was going to say is if this were like Christmas time, you could put a little peppermint in the brownie mix, and that would give it a more Christmassy kind of flavor. All right. Okay. Got this bowl about as clean as it's gonna get. So all I want to do is I want to kind of do a little twisty turny till it all kind of finds its way. Do a little shake, and I can do that because the parchment paper is not going to move because it's frozen to it. Or well, not frozen, but stuck to it from the cold. If you were to do that normally, I think the parchment paper might get a little bit, move a little bit. Oh, wow. Sorry, this is really good. All right, so I don't want to kill it. This is a dark pan, so I'm going to bake it for 40 minutes. If you're using like a aluminum, silver, light colored pan, probably 45 minutes. This is going to go in the oven for 40 minutes. I will see you back for the rest of this lovely recipe.
Okay.
All right, I've been keeping an eye on this lovely concoction. And that is exactly what we want. We got a little crust on top there. We got just a beautiful, beautiful cake. Now, I gotta let this cool down to where I can touch it because I need to run something around like a knife. I use it, I'll find something plastic. Run around the edge so I can flip it out onto a cooling rack. So we're going to give it about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to let it finish cooling. We want it down to room temperature. And then we'll be back to finish it all up and make it look so pretty. Alright, so my brownie cake is done and looking scrumptious and cool. So now let's start the icing. The icing needs to get done kind of in a hurry and put on, and then we will get to try it, right? Alright, so this is my grandmother's recipe, believe it or not. So you take a cup of water, get some heat going here. This, I think my grandmother used to call this 7-minute icing, but it's like a meringue icing. But I've never tried it, and I thought, what the heck? While the water's heating up, I'll tell you. I went to the auto parts store. I got something used to spread Bondo and when you're doing body work. Cut a little sliver, and that's what I ran around the cake to get it out. Really handy little tool. Alright, so as that's getting warm, what I want to do is I need 3 tablespoons of corn syrup. And that's a really cool trick. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, this kind of gums everything up, right? So now I'm going to put it in here, and because this is just warm enough, it's going to help dissolve it off the spoon. I got to turn it down, it's getting kind of warm in there pretty quick. And don't be afraid to round these up, because otherwise you won't have enough. And number 3. I'm just going to stir this for a second with my measuring spoon to get it cleaned off, because we don't want to miss any of it. Perfect. It's like making a simple syrup, right? Okay. So like I said, a cup of water, 3 tablespoons of light corn syrup. Got it all off there. Now what I want to do is I want to get 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. I should have loosened the lid first, right? I bet you my spoon isn't going to fit in here, my measuring spoon. And I don't want to make a mess, so I'm going to put 2 halves in there. Now, as this is warming up, just trying to mix this all together. Everything's dissolving really fast. So what I got here, I have 3 cups of sugar. And this sugar was on sale, and you can see it's really lumpy, but it does not matter. Now we're just going to make a syrup out of this. Try to make sure we get all that sugar melted. It's just starting to mix together. I'm going to turn it down. We don't want to get this boiling. I can tell it's already really starting to thin out. I have a brownie pan. Okay. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. You just don't feel like it, huh? Come here. Come here. No, not on you, guys. On me. He's not agreeable, right? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Alright, well, keep doing it. Come here. Such a good boy. Never does what he's supposed to, but. Alright. It's almost there. Really being careful. Oh yeah, it's all dissolved. Beautiful. I'm going to just put it on low. And we're going to move over to the next task. Actually, this pot holds water, heat really well, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And we'll see you back on the mixing side. Alright, so I got my corn syrup mixture all ready. I got 4 egg whites. Get them in here. And I went back to something that make life easier. My mom always had an egg separator. I bought one. Never done that before, but I figured might as well try it. So now you beat these. We're going to start off low, blow it while we're going up to a pretty high speed, about 45 seconds. All right? So we just needed to make some peaks. Now I'm going to slowly pour in. I'm going to put this back up on high. I'm going to slowly pour in my mixture. So let me go grab that.
it back on high and slowly pour. So I'm sure you noticed I poured in 1/2 tablespoons of vanilla. And so now what I should have star of the show. Get this out of here. See, this is what we call a perfect. We whipped it till it started to lose its gloss. It took about 3 minutes, and it's got some real stiff peaks to it. And this is the only way I know to make it. I guess you could cut the recipe in half, but the problem is the volume of the ingredients might not quite be right. Yeah, that's my grandmother's icing. I can tell. I haven't had it in 50 years. That's it. Oh yeah. So, set this aside. So, I'm going to bring this over on the cooling rack so you can see it. What I did was I took a piece of cardboard. Now you can buy those fancy cake cardboard things. But I took a box that we had delivered, cut it up, and just wrap it in saran wrap, tape the bottom. Now, I want to keep this upside down so that, because you know the top has a little crust on it, so I want this to be more like cake texture, and it's really cooled down. It's going to be perfect, right? Now what you do is you just start bringing it to the edge. And I'm not an artist at this, okay? So don't blame me. So why am I doing the top first? Well, long time ago I learned that if you do the edges, sometimes you get crumbs on the top. And so I want to do the top, so when I do the edges, it's going to make less of a mess. Okay, now, make sure you remove any chocolate particles. Alright.
I'm really not that talented, so I'm going to move this back and forth till I seal right against the plastic. Like I said, this is perfect for a kid's party because they are going to die when they see what's in the center. And let it be messy because you know that'll be a hit, right? Oops. Really not left-handed, so I have to do it this way. Oops, I missed a spot. It ain't pretty, but let me tell you, everybody's gonna love it. So what I suggest is we're gonna let it cool down, and I left enough cardboard so I can pick it up. Whoa, almost lost it. Just kidding. Now you see why I said this is perfect. I can't get over it. My grandma would be so proud of me because she really didn't think I could bake. So here you go. This is the real deal. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time with another recipe.